And we're back. "5:14 a.m. on Tuesday, June 17th, here in lovely scenic Paji City, South Korea. I'm Lean Bear, and time is ticking. So it's been about 24 hours since I uploaded this song, and still, I think, around 30 views maybe. I told Eric I'd be surprised if there's more than 50. I try to set my expectations low. It's incendiary, man. But one never knows about these things. You'd think that this would gin up some furor. Furor? Brian, are you there? Is it furor, or furor? I've seen it spelled both ways. Brian said he was going to be here. I'll ask him when he appears. When the writer makes his appearance. So here we are. Okay, so the title is Trying to Diagnose a Glitch. And so I suppose I should shine a little spotlight on the glitch in question. I've seen it spelled with an E and pronounced as such. Is that one of those postmodern things? Let me see here. I'm about to pull the browser up. And, okay, view your channel. And, yep, I'm live. All right. Need to update that banner. Videos. There it is. And two thumbs up, 5 comments. There's one from Eric. No comment from Rustic Rich Originals. Go figure. I'm telling you, Brian, the levels of effery are one can become too paranoid about them. On the one hand, one can become too paranoid about them, and on the other hand, one can't be too paranoid about them. And I just say that based on my own experience. Because I've seen things, experienced things that maybe we'll talk about someday. I don't talk about them with just anybody. I have my suspicions that... Did you ever see the movie Dark City? I think it was called Dark City. Let's see if it was called Dark City. Dark City movie. I don't see the chat right now, but I'll be back to it. Dark City. Yeah. 1998 tech noir film. I hear glitching. glitch, glitch, glitch. The film is set in a mysterious, nightmarish city where the sun never shines. And the protagonist, John Murdoch, played by Sewell, awakens with no memory of his past, suspecting himself of a series of brutal murders. That's the exoteric plot. As he tries to uncover the truth about his identity, he discovers a hidden world controlled by a group of enigmatic beings known as the Strangers. And there's this thing called predictive programming. You know, the wizards, I like to call them the wizards. They micromanage like you wouldn't believe. Like, it beggars belief how much they micromanage. And they have technology. I don't want to come off sounding like a paranoid nutcase here, but it is what it is as far as I'm concerned. Anyway. Furor. Is it spelled? Is the spelling are the spellings furor and furor equivalent, both acceptable? Put it that way. Oh, well, how to use furor, how to use that correctly. Grammarist. I don't think I trust any website with a name like that. Furor usually refers to a public uproar. Goodbye. Furor is the American and Canadian spelling of furor. Furor. And it has additional definitions. It does not share with the primarily British furor. These are 1, violent anger, and 2, a state of intense excitement. Some dictionaries erroneously list furor. I don't know. I've heard furor. I thought it sounded silly. As simply a British variation of furor, and this inadequate claim is widely repeated on the web. But the latter is more narrowly defined. The former, in this sentence, is more narrowly defined. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what they're talking about anymore? Okay. Anyway, here's the glitch. Right where Bug's butt plug comes out. Smiling serenely. Wait a minute. Is the glitch gone? Guys, and more to make them tremble. I pray it resembles the head of our Lord Jesus Christ. Smiling serenely. No, it's still there, but it's not as pronounced as it was yesterday. And when I played it for the first time, I didn't hear it. Brian, do you hear that? Let me do that again. Guys, and more to make them tremble. I pray it resembles the head of our Lord Jesus Christ. Smiling serene. Oh, there it is. You can hear the word smiling being, I think the proper word would be ducked. The volume of that word takes a dip in relation to the rest of the mix. You hear that? All right. Okay, so what up with that? As the young folks would say. What is up with that? I heard it, and of course, my first inclination was, we can't have that. I got to go back and fix it. But you know what? It's like to go back and do and get to the bottom of it. Do the audio mix down, do the video rendering, pull it down off of YouTube. Just now. Only a very few persnickety people are going to ever even notice, much less care. So there's that. And look, Brian, this is probably something that you probably don't know anything about because you don't need to. But there was this thing called the loudness wars. It's known as the loudness wars. You can look it up. Where it's kind of like an arms race of loudness. All these different genres, some of which just tend to be louder than others. And in keeping with the times, put it that way, the times we're living in, because in terms of overall maturity, we, as a civilization, I'm generalizing, of course, but we're like a bunch of 4 or 5 year olds. You know, like how little kids, they'll argue over the cup. They'll, you know, like one cup is taller than the other cup. And they both might be they both might be 8-ounce cups. They both contain exactly 8 ounces. But one cup is taller than the other. And the kids will squabble over the cup because they think the taller cup is bigger and it holds more. You know what I'm talking about? That's the loudness wars. That's the mentality in a nutshell. You know, louder is automatically better. And it goes in keeping with, everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to be the center of attention. The cult of stardom, as I call it. It's vanity and it's egotism, and it's a disease. Anyway, I don't want to get off on rants, but so the authorities, our tech overlords, decided that regulation was necessary, and so they instituted new measures of loudness and standards of loudness, which are, so this is another thing about if you bow down to the Spotifys of the world. So if you upload your music to Spotify, they have a loudness standard, and if you exceed the loudness standard, they'll squash it. They'll apply normalization and compression algorithms that will squash your video. I don't know why I'm getting these little sputters and glitches, but squash and so that it conforms. And I have a meter in every project to let me know where that, and up until recently I've been mastering to that level, not because I'm bowing down to Spotify, because I never intend to upload to Spotify anyway. However, I just find that personally I prefer to keep things not getting too loud, because I think they don't. There's a curve of diminishing returns. As you push your DAW to get things louder, we're talking generalized overall cumulative loudness over the course of a song. Okay, not loudness at any one given time, kind of averaged out loudness. I just find that I kind of prefer that level overall. But on this track, with that outro being more than a third of the song, and it's loud, and there's no way to, and YouTube, by the way, has, I believe, the same standard, -14 LUFS or LUFS as Spotify. And I knew YouTube was going to squash it. I was like, okay, well, I'm not making 2/3 of the song too quiet in order to meet this standard, whatever. So I expected some squashing, which I got, but I was surprised to hear one word like ducked. Anyway, that's my preamble. I'm looking at the comments now. Yeah, well, I don't know. Whatever. It's not happening now. Anyway, so that's the backdrop to this, what I'm doing now. I just thought I would go in there and see if I could get to the core. Is it something? There must be a seed of it on my end, because it makes no sense that it's just an algorithm. It doesn't favor certain words, But I didn't hear it. In the final playback before I mixed down and all that. Didn't notice it anyway. So here we are back in the DAW, and Jesus Christ. And even though I've frozen everything, and I don't know, the pewter's acting up today. There's something that I should have. Well, I'm not going to do that now. Look, here is the. What we're looking at here is this is the mixed down waveform. Okay, you can see here that by that little snowflake icon there lit up that the track has been frozen, which means mixed down. This is a way to conserve processing power and obviate glitching, which it's not doing right now. Everything's frozen. It's still glitching. It shouldn't be, but anyway. Here's the word smiling. Right here. There's the word. Now, I don't know everything about audio. I'm not an expert. But there's nothing that stands out about that waveform. It's not particularly loud. You can look at others all around it, and we can scroll. We can look left and we can look right. It doesn't stand out as being particularly loud, right? That's it right there. Okay, and I'm not gonna do I can't do a lot of playback now because it's just one of those days. It shouldn't be doing this, but and I don't have anything else going. I mean, I could, I guess I could try to kill Discord for the moment, but all right. Anyway, do you hear it there? Smiling serenely. It's kind of hard to judge with the glitching, but I did this before I started the stream. I pre-gamed it. So here's the skinny. For whatever reason, that little dip is barely detectable. I mean barely detectable. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to unfreeze this track. I'm going to unfreeze it by, see there, clicking the icon, unfreeze track. Yeah. All right. You hear what? You hear the dip? I doubt you can hear the dip here. I mean, I'm going to... smiling serenely. You can't really make it out with the glitching going on. However, if you know it's there, or you're going there to like listen for it, really listen for it, it's kind of like, is it that? Yeah, I think I can hear it. Yeah, I think I can hear it. It's kind of like that. Although you can't be 100% sure if you're just hearing something because you're expecting to hear something. It's very, very subtle. But I'll just, for the sake of argument, because it's the most logical thing to suppose is that it is indeed there to some degree. Why? Well, if this waveform was like a sudden spike that stood out and it was a lot bigger than any of the others, then I would go, oh, well, okay, that's why. Because now what you're seeing here, Brian, is you're seeing the waveform after processing by the plugins, and that includes 2 compressor plugins right here. And so my initial hypothesis would be that, well, it's the compressor acting up, or not necessarily the compressor acting up. More likely than not, it would be user error. It would be I didn't set the compressor properly. And that may be the case still. I'm just going based on my common sense, based on what I know and how I understand things. But nothing stands out in the waveform. Now, if I unfreeze it, that's the original, this is the raw signal right here. Yeah, I know live is buffering. There's nothing I can do about it, brother. Just have to, if it's bothering you, you could come back and watch it again. That's why I want to keep it reasonably short. This is just for the record, and maybe someone else who knows better will come along. And there's that glitching again. Dark City. Maybe someone will come along and explain it. It's here for the record. This is the same word right here. Really doesn't stand out. Really doesn't stand out. Same word. Smiling. Anyway. I'm telling you, everything is frozen. I froze. Now. I forgot to freeze. There's one I forgot to freeze. No, there's. Hang on. All right. Well, anyway, it is what it is. I am where I am. Nah. I tell you what. I'm going to end this and do a part 2 because I think I understand now why the glitching is there, and I'm gonna fix it and be back in 5 minutes. So there's going to be a part 2 to this. Might as well do it right. If you're going to do something, as my dad always said, if you're going to do something, do it right. And the other thing my dad always said, he's still around, talking in the past tense because when I was a kid, but if you're going to do something, do it right, son. And Kent never did anything. Kent never did anything. Okay, so I'm going to end this and come back with continued here in just a few minutes. Back in a few.